Hello there, interwebs. I am the Bechtloff, and this is, of course, my podcast. And happy Father's Day to everybody. It's it's Saturday as I record this, but it's Father's Day weekend. It might even be Sunday before I get this up. But I thought I would start this podcast by sharing a little story about my dad. My dad and I guess. When my mom was pregnant with me, there was a show on called Tales of the Gold Monkey that my dad really liked, and this show was on. It was an Indiana Jones ripoff, basically. It was only on for about a season, so it never got put on DVD or video or anything like that. And my mom was pregnant with me at the time, and her water broke right when he was in the middle of watching a show. So he used to always joke around with me all through the years, like, I missed Tales of the Gold Monkey for you. And the one year I was at Wizard World. Comic Con out in Philly, and there's guys there selling bootleg DVDs. If you've never been, usually it's almost always shows you can't get on DVD. Like you can get various. Like I bought the '90s Spider-Man cartoon there one time, the whole series, which again, as far as I know, has never been released legitimately on DVD. All sorts of obscure shows you can find. You can find unaired stuff. Like I got the unaired NBC was going to do a Wonder Woman show back in 2011, and I got the unaired pilot where the effects aren't even finished. It's not as bad as everyone says. Could have maybe been a good show with a little bit of tweaking. But getting sidetracked, I found Tales of the Gold Monkey right there at the one booth, and this was over the summer, like June or something. So I bought it, and, tucked it away, gave it to my dad for Christmas that year with a little note that said, "Now we're even." This day, and this was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, to this day, that's one of his favorite gifts. So, just thought that was a little fun story worth sharing for everybody out there. And one other quick little thing before I get into the meat of this. There's somebody in my church, his daughter had just graduated high school. And, she didn't know what to do it herself, didn't know what if anything, go to school for. So I got her a little graduation present, Worthless by Aaron Clary. And if you know anybody in your life of that age, I would highly suggest getting this book for them. Honestly, if I had the resources, I would put this book in the hands of every 18-year-old in the country. This is an important book. There's so many of us. A lot of you listening might have fallen in this trap. You went to school for some bullshit degree, because you were told it'd be fine. It's terrible. It's the education system in this country is especially the higher education. It's ridiculous. It's a fucking scam. It's a bubble that's gonna burst here soon. And you can't even get the debt free from you. What kind of debt you can't get rid of with even bankruptcy? That's ridiculous. And not to take the responsibility off these kids majoring, puppeteering or some stupid shit like that. But by the same token, they are young people, the parents and the teachers should be coming beside them and saying, no, don't do this. But Worthless by Aaron Clary, and he's not a sponsor. I don't have sponsors on this podcast yet. I've met the guy. I was out in Vegas with him. I consider him a friend. But that's not what I'm telling you about this book. I'm telling you about this book because it's an important book. If you know somebody that age, somebody that's important too, I would get this book in their hands if you possibly can. All right, moving on to topics here. I became a Christian in my kind of mid-20s, and I came to faith as a young man, mid-20s, and it was kind of a slow process, but I started really going to church at like 27 or so. And I found that my dating life is considerably harder after coming to church. I've basically decided I'm only going to date Christian girls. I'm only going to date girls of my faith. And I kind of had similar policy before I was a Christian. I've always felt, if I want to be in any kind of long-term relationship with somebody, I wanted somebody that's compatible views with me. Not identical, but compatible. And, since coming to my faith, I want somebody of compatible theological views. Again, not necessarily identical, but compatible. Somebody who is a Christian like me. And the girls in the church are not a good bunch. Certainly not. You might think, oh, these are traditional girls. They're not corrupted by third wave feminism and all this shit from the culture. And yes and no. Christian girls are not good. I should say churchianity girls. They don't make good wives or girlfriends, and none of that. There's a movie coming out, or it's already out, I guess, called Mom's Night Out. It's a piece of shit Christian movie. It's got that stupid bitch from Everybody Loves Raymond, who I don't know why anybody ever saw her appeal. And some other people, but it's a piece of shit. You could just tell it looking at the trailer. I haven't seen it, but I've had people request that I review it, and I probably will at some point, but I'm not going to pay money to see it in a theater. But over on the blog patriactionary.com or .wordpress.com, Will S said something in the comment section about it that was interesting. I think it was Will S. Could have been somebody else. That it's telling that the title is Mom's Night Out and not Wives Night Out. Because a churchianity girl doesn't see herself as a wife. She sees herself as a mom. The husband is there to help her pump out these pups that she so preciously fucking wants. But yeah, she's not a wife. She's a mom. And, it's kind of like you're trying to date these churchianity girls, and the biggest problem ends up being that they've turned Christ into a fucking boyfriend. It's not their Lord and Savior anymore. It's their fucking boyfriend. I mean, it's the old joke that you could write a Christian song by taking a pop song and changing the words love to Jesus, or the words baby to Jesus. The Jesus is my boyfriend Christian songs. And that's the thing. You date one of these girls. God forbid you marry one of these churchianity girls. And you're basically the fucking cuckold. Alright? Because she's already got a man. And I can learn all the game I want. I'm not going to out alpha God. And it's not really God. It's this stupid idol that they've got in their head. It's the perfect alpha male. It's, in some ways, I guess, in the secular world, you run into this problem with girls on the federal dime. Aaron Cleary's pointed this out before. Girls on the dole, you can't out alpha Uncle Sam. Here's the ultimate alpha male that gives you whatever you want and doesn't hold you accountable. And within churchianity circles, a false view, but a view of God has become that to these girls. And you can't. Well, what do you do with that? How do you? You can't date those kind of girls. That's not a quality wife material. That's not. And that's the sad thing. You would think within the church you'd have, better quality women, and I'm seeing really the opposite. First of all, part of the problem is I'm 31, so I basically have to date 10 years younger than me to find a quality woman, because they marry them young in the church. Basically marry them in college when they're going to some Christian school to get a worthless degree. Getting back to Aaron Clary's book, they could use some of that. But what do you do? Why is it? Why are the prospects just as bad, if not in some ways worse? Within the church, it shouldn't be this way. This is something that and anybody who hears this who's a red pill guy and who is a Christian, I would invite you to muse on this, because you've probably seen similar things. Maybe you could even articulate it better than me, because it's just starting to now gel in my head, like what this problem is. But I don't know how you would go about it. It's one of those deep flaws. It's a deep flaw within evangelical culture, within churchianity, and it comes from, in some ways, the ridiculously female-dominated narrative within churchianity. I mean, you look at some of these churchianity quote-unquote leaders. They're all these weaselly, effeminate fucking males. Pardon me. Like guys like James Dobson or Joel Osteen or Eric Metaxas. They're all little fucking moral faggots. And I mean, what is James Dobson really? But a churchianity version of Oprah. And that's his main audience. I guarantee you his audience is... I would be shocked if the audience of shows like Focus on the Family Life Today, these radio shows, are James Dobson's Family Talk, whatever. I would be shocked if the audience wasn't about 70% female. At least. It's all fucking housewives. The 700 Club. If that's not 80% female, I would be fucking shocked. So, because of that, because that's the audience that's consuming this stuff more, then they pander to that audience quite naturally. And you just end up with a female-dominated evangelical culture so skewed in that direction that, I mean, women get away with all sorts of shit. And men are just always told to man up. And when's the last time you've heard calls to woman up in evangelical? You don't hear it. Look at the movie Fireproof. I keep harping back to this movie because it's such a perfect example. At the end of that movie, the husband gives his teary, please forgive me, and the wife forgives him. She offers no apology of her own. And yet, a careful watching of that movie will show you that woman is guilty of everything he is, to an equal or greater extent. So, where's her apology? It's not there. Because it was an evil man made her do it. The quality of women in churchianity circles is really, really poor. It's surprisingly so. It should be so much better than the culture at large, and it's at times kind of worse. I don't have a solution for it. Like I said, it's only just beginning to gel in my head, this problem. But I don't know what to do about it. I mean, I've gotten in shape better. I've learned game more than I have in the past. And I have a hard time finding a decent Christian girl. If I were to date outside the church, I'd be doing pretty good. I'd be doing way better, but I don't want to do that. Trying to get a girl within the church right now, within Christianity, is increasingly tough. I basically got to date 10 years younger right off the get-go, which everyone looks down on me because, again, churchianity goes, oh, you're just a predatory older man. Fucking horseshit. What was that John... So you talk about a weaselly fucking effeminate little guy, that John Stone Street, that doughy motherfucker. He had an article on there where he was talking about spring break and how older men hook up with the college girls because, nature, because, human nature at play. I mean, you can list all the reasons. Like, the older men are more confident, they have more money, they have more status. Of course the college girls are going to want them. College girls got tight, firm, young bodies, so of course the older men are going to want them. Hey, it seems like perfectly fucking natural thing. And Stone Street's like, oh, these predatory older men. I'm like, predatory? What, are they raping them? Are they raping these poor girls? Because if that's the case, someone should call the cops. That's terrible. Oh, no, they're just having consensual sex. Yeah, because a man that has consensual sex with an adult is a predator. Go fuck yourself, John. Go fuck your fat ass. It's fucking ridiculous. This is the bullshit that men are fed in evangelical culture, and that women are fed. Because what's the implication there? That the men are predators. That these drunken sluts on spring break are innocent little flowers that are defiled by these evil men? No, they're drunken fucking sluts at spring break. I'm not condoning fornication here necessarily. Well, I'm not condoning fornication. I don't throw nearly as much stones at it as churchianity does. That's something that always bugged me. A little sidetrack there. The ridiculous amount of emphasis churchianity puts on sexual sins in general. I notice in the scriptures there's one time that Jesus was angered to the point of violence. And it's not at a bordello. It's not at the prostitutes. It's not even at the Apollo Temple, which was a homosexual cult at the time. It's at the money changers in the temple. So I think were he physically walking the earth today, he'd be much more inclined to want to put a boot up someone's ass when he's watching Joel Osteen on the religious channel scam people out of money than the dirty movies on Cinemax or whatever. But got sidetracked for a minute there. That's what we're feeding these guys. That the guys are always the evil. It's essentially feminism. It's essentially just a religionized version of feminism. Guys are these evil predators and these poor girls. No wonder you can't find a decent fucking woman in. But again, I don't have the answers here. I'm only beginning to gel the problem. The problem's only beginning to gel in my head. I don't know what to do here, and I certainly would be open for suggestions on how you get that in check, because I don't know. I don't know. All right, moving on to lighter topics. This is just real quick. I was at my comic store Wednesday, as I'm prone to be, being a nerd and all, and I saw something on the shelf that just boggled my fucking mind. Angry Birds comic book. The Angry Birds comic issue 1, sitting there right there on the shelf. Now I reviewed this a little bit on my blog. You might have saw if you follow my blog, but that boggled my fucking mind. Angry Birds, really? Now I've said before, and I'll say again, that there's a lot of video game properties that should have comic books that don't. Mega Man is probably my favorite comic book right now. The comic book that Archie is making based on Mega Man is a fantastic all-ages read. A 5-year-old could enjoy it. An old cynical nerd like me can enjoy it. And there's plenty of other properties. A Zelda comic book would be fantastic. Even Mario, a Metroid comic book. I used to really love the Tomb Raider comic book that Top Cow did. I don't particularly like the new one by Dark Horse, but that's because I don't like the new rebooted Tomb Raider. It's all grit and gritty and just not fun anymore. Tomb Raider used to be fun and sexy and adventurous, and no, it's not anymore. It's just Far Cry with tits. Not even all that big of tits anymore. So I don't particularly like the Dark Horse Tomb Raider comic right now, but I guess if you like the new Tomb Raider game, you'd probably like it. So there's a lot of comic books I would say that don't, or at least don't right now have comic, or a lot of video games I should say, that don't, at least don't right now have comic books that should. Zelda, Metroid, Mario, just tons. Fuck, probably even Kirby. I mean, just tons. But fucking Angry Birds? The fact that Nintendo isn't doing comic books right now, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, because Rovio can fart out an Angry Birds comic book. And amazingly enough, I can't say I hated it. Like, I read it. I was curious. I read it, and it made me laugh a couple of times. I'll give it that. It's probably as good as an Angry Birds comic book could fucking possibly be. And by the way, it's published by IDW. Hats off to IDW for taking risks. They've got a very diverse lineup of books right now, and hats off to them for it. I gotta give them credit there. But yeah, Angry Birds the comic book, that fucking exists. And yet, there's not a Metroid comic book. There's not a Zelda comic book. That just boggles my mind. Alright, now while we're on the subject of Nintendo, I watched some of the E3 coverage today. Was that last weekend or was it this weekend? I don't know. I don't know. But I watched the E3 coverage. And I watched a little bit of the Sony and Microsoft stuff, but I don't care. Especially with Microsoft right now, I don't care. Fuck the Xbox One. Fuck it right in its stupid ass. I will not. I can't imagine there's anything you're going to say to me, Microsoft, that's going to win my trust back after the shit you pulled. You can't. Your game's going to be attached to the thing. We're going to try and kill the used game market. I know they reversed on that shit. But you know what? They tried it. The trust is gone. What's to say they won't try it again? As soon as I buy it, then it'll be like, nope, policy now. Fuck you. That's our policy. Fuck you. That was their policy. They reversed it, but who's to say they won't do it again? I was mildly interested in the PS4 stuff. I don't know. Nothing really caught my eye. I sort of looked at that new Batman game. I don't really care. Arkham Redundancy, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't care. I never even liked Arkham. I never even liked Arkham Asylum that much. I mean, I liked it, but it's kind of fucking frustratingly hard at times, and like I got stuck a lot. I don't know. I mean, it was good, but it was just hard enough at times to not be fun. You know, I'm not a hardcore gamer. It's something I do on the side. I don't want to bust in my balls that much. I never played any other ones. I never really had any interest in it. It's hard to muster up too much interest in DC right now for me emotionally because of the new 52 train wreck. It reminds me like, hey, I remember when DC used to not suck. Now they do. But I did actually catch the Lego Batman 3 like little snippets and teasers and all, and it looks cool. I liked Lego Batman 2 a lot. I liked it a lot. A Lego Batman game with a sandbox mode is pretty badass to me. That's a whole lot of fun right there. But what really struck me is I think Nintendo killed at E3. I watched Nintendo's press conference, a couple other things they did. It was fantastic. Now I'm a bit of a Nintendo fan to begin with, so I guess I'm a little biased. But by the same token, I had no real interest in the Wii U. I don't like the interface. I'm a little bit softened on it because of some of the stuff they showed me, but I don't like this iPad controller bullshit. It just doesn't. Two screens are hard to program for anyways. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot with third-party development, but I didn't really want a Wii U. There was Wii U games I wanted, and I was in the position where I thought I might soon begrudgingly buy a Wii U just for those games. But now I kind of want a Wii U. They've pushed me emotionally enough. This has swayed me a little. There was lots of cool stuff they were showing. They were showing this Yoshi yarn game. It's kind of like that Kirby yarn game. It's called Yoshi's Woolly World or something. It's like Yoshi's Island, but everything's made of yarn. And they emphasize there's a lot of exploration in the game and all. It looks a lot of fun. Yeah, it's basically Yoshi's Island, but there's a different dynamic to it with the yarn. It looks interesting enough. Cute, fun game. They showed a Toad game, which is interesting. It's kind of like Mario, but Toad apparently doesn't jump, so there's more puzzle-solving elements than platforming. They showed a game, Mario Maker, which is the first game I really see that I feel takes real good advantage of the tablet thing, the control thing, where you basically design Mario levels, and you can do it even. It looks like it can either be in the style of like New Super Mario Wii, like modern graphics, or it can look like Mario 1 for the old NES. They showed Hyrule Warriors looks interesting enough. Mario Kart, of course, looks Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart. What's not to love about Mario Kart? You have to be a pretty joyless bastard to not get a kick out of Mario Kart. You get a couple of friends over, have a couple of beers, and play some Mario Kart. They're in a better night. I can't think of a better night right there. Nothing quite like playing Mario Kart with your girl too. When you, that's one of the best things. My one ex and I used to love some Mario Kart, and Smash Brothers on the old N64 too. That was fun. Speaking of Smash Brothers, before I talk about Smash Brothers, there was a Zelda they were showing some. Now, admittedly, early teaser stuff for, but they were talking about this is going to be this is going to be an unimaginably open world Zelda, and if it's really what they're saying it's going to be, it seems like it'll be just fantastic. But the Smash Brothers, holy shit, the Smash Brothers. First of all, and this has been announced before, but like Pac-Man's in it. That's pretty cool. I should mention actually, the conference, the news conference Nintendo did. They had like these robot chicken bits in it, which again is why I think Nintendo killed at this conference. The showmanship was just fantastic. But getting back, Smash Brothers, you got Pac-Man in it. They got some character from Kid Icarus. I don't really know Kid Icarus that much, so I don't know anything about her. But they introduced her with this like anime style cartoon of Zelda and Link, called him Zelda, But Link and Kid Icarus fighting in like the Smash Brothers tournament kind of thing, and then this goddess or whatever the hell she is shows up, and the animation was so well done. For a second when they were showing it, I was like, is there going to be like a Smash Brothers animated movie? Like, it was that good looking. It just was great. Smash Brothers, okay. And now the big thing is you can play in Smash Brothers with your Wii. Or your Mii, I'm sorry. Your avatar on the Wii. I never gave a shit about my avatar. Like, I unlocked it in Mario Kart on the Wii, but I never played it. I designed it only on the Wii because it made me before it would let me play a game. But you can actually customize your battle type and your weapon and your moves and all with your Mii. So I could see it being pretty interesting. It's not necessarily something I would have demanded in it, but I could see it turn out well. And they made a good point that it doesn't necessarily have to be you. Like, they showed like you could make it a celebrity or something like that. Like they showed a Mii that looked like the rapper Ice-T. So you can have fun with it. You can be creative. You can make a lot of different things with it, which is cool. That's something I used to love with wrestling games back in the day, when you can make your character like PS2 wrestling games and all. One thing, what's some other things about Smash Brothers? I mean, it's just basic Smash Brothers. It looks like they ironed out a lot of the bullshit they had in Brawl. There was a lot of crap going on in Brawl. It was no good. Amiibos. It's these little Nintendo like Skylander things that they were showing. I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean, it's one of those things where I think it could turn out to be something really awesome, or it could just be a fucking waste of time and money. But you can get a little Nintendo figurine, basically, and you can add them to certain games by like touching it close to your Wii, like the Skylander shit. But the figurine will actually learn stats and improve and change and all. Like, there's a little chip in it that will read stuff. It could turn out to be interesting. It could turn out to be a really interesting way to add characters later on to games like Smash Brothers or Mario Kart even. Like, maybe you could play as Pac-Man in Mario Kart, that kind of thing. Which actually you could do, believe it or not. There was I might have mentioned this in a previous arcade thing, but a previous podcast, but there was actually an arcade version of Mario Kart produced by Namco where Pac-Man was a playable character. But I digress. It could end up being something really interesting, but it's always been Nintendo's problem that they focus too much on gimmicky hardware. You know, I mean, let's all remember the Virtual Boy from the 90s. And you know, to some extent, the Wii's biggest problem was that. I mean, oh yeah, the motion sensor's cute, or the motion control's cute and all, but did it really add anything? I mean, I've said this before, but Mario Kart's the only game I ever played on the Wii where I thought the motion sensor really had anything. You know, and the tablet thing for the Wii U, I mean, I really didn't like the look of that, and it kept me from the Wii U for a while. And again, you know, Mario Maker seems like it takes advantage of it some. Oh, there was a really cool Kirby-looking game. Everything looked like it was claymation. I can't remember what it was called. Kirby in the Bumble Farts. I don't know, Kirby in the clay thing. Whatever. Who cares? It's the new Kirby game. But the graphics on everything looked claymation. It was really cool. I'd mentioned in an earlier podcast, I just started getting into the Kirby games, and they're pretty damn cool. But then Nintendo's just got phenomenal IPs. They always have. It's been what keeps them alive. I mean, you know, Mario is awesome. You know, anybody can enjoy a Mario game. You know, anybody can enjoy a Zelda game. They're fun games. They're just great IPs. I think now Nintendo was doing rough here for a while, the Wii U sales and all, but it's picking up with Mario Kart 8 coming out, and I think Nintendo has the potential to dominate this generation now. The only thing they need to do is if they can get the sales up enough and get some third-party support, which will be hard to do because they're probably, with that second controller, iPad screen thing, it's probably harder to program for it. But if they can just get some third-party support, they'll spank Sony and Microsoft. Because let's face facts, Sony was ahead, maybe still is. but not by much. I mean, they're all limping around. There's no real excitement about this generation of consoles. And that was the thing that got me. I'm watching this thing on the Wii. I was actually I was excited for these games. I, I would, if I bought the Wii U tomorrow, I can think of close to at least a half dozen games right off the top of my head I want. You know, the Luigi game, the new Mario game, okay, standard shit. I gotta have it. You know, Hyrule Warriors looks cool. Smash Brothers, gotta have it. Mario Kart 8, hell yeah. The Yoshi Yarn game looks cute. I probably would enjoy that. The Toad game, you know, shit, man. The Mario Maker, the open world Zelda. Holy crap, I was drooling over that. I honestly think Nintendo has the potential to dominate this generation if they can just get the third party support in. But even without it, they'll be doing fine. I've said before that there's probably going to be a crash in the video game industry coming soon. A nasty correction, at least. Pardon me. And just like the '83 crash, I think Nintendo's going to be the one coming out smelling like a rose. They're going to be the ones that are just fucking fine. And Sony and Microsoft aren't going to go bankrupt because, I mean, they're not just video game companies. But their video game wings might wither and die. I'm sorry. Who the hell is going to buy an Xbox One? I would love to know why. If you're going to buy an Xbox One, I would love to know why. I mean, they basically said they were going to fuck you. And then, yeah, they took it back, but they said it. So you know that they're more than willing to do it. They're more than willing to do it if they can get away with it. That it was just and what the hell games are on it that makes it worth dealing with such shady assholes. I don't see anything on it that makes it worth that. I mean, I would not get an Xbox One. I'm probably gonna I'm getting a Wii U. I'm just, as soon as I can work it into the budget. You know, video games aren't a top priority for me, so I'm not gonna go out and get it tomorrow. But I'll work it into the budget, and I'll get me a Wii U. I might get a PS4 down the line. I don't see myself getting an Xbox One, like, ever. I don't think I want one if you give it to me for free. I think if I won one, I think I'd just smash it with a hammer and make a YouTube video. That'd be right up here on this channel. Hey, watch me break an Xbox One, because fuck Xbox One. I'd rather go get a CDI game and play those shitty Zelda games with those animated cutscenes that look like nightmare fuel. I'd rather go get an Atari Jaguar. I'd rather get just about anything than a fucking Xbox One. Fuck Xbox One. But yeah, I think Nintendo kicked ass at E3. You know, I think they showed a lot of cool shit. I watched most of the Sony thing. I can't even think of anything off the top of my head. I'd have to pull it up and watch it again just to even comment on it. It made that little an impact on me. And again, I am a Nintendo fanboy, but that's because Nintendo kicks ass. I mean, Nintendo's fun. Remember that? Remember when video games were fucking fun? Before it became all about achievements. Oh, you unlocked this and like the World of Warcraft shit, just a time suck. We're like, look at my level 72 orc. Fuck you. Who the hell has that kind of time? You know, video games are supposed to be just something you do fun on the side. It's not supposed to be your fucking life. That's why I love Nintendo. Because it's casual gamer shit. I can pop Smash Brothers in for like 20 minutes and have some fun with it. I don't have to invest 80 hours in fucking unlocking shit and building up my fucking character. I don't have that kind of time. You know, I'd love to have that kind of time the further away. I just don't. Alright? You know, like I said, remember when video games were fun? And Tomb Raider is a perfect example of that. I used to love Tomb Raider games back in the day. I know the controls were ass for Tomb Raider. Believe me, I played it on the PC. We're talking about ass. I'm hitting like control to move and shit. Yeah, trust me. Playing it on the keyboard. You want to talk about some ass controls. But you know what? It was fun. It was a fun character. It was a fun premise. It was a well-designed game for the time. And yeah, it didn't age well, but it's early 3D platformer. What one has? But it was a fun game for the time. And then it's rebooted shit. It's all grim and gritty, and when you die, it lingers on a death way too much, like uncomfortably too much, like a fucking snuff film. It's just unpleasant. Like Tomb Raider was this sexy, fun thing. It's like, hey, what if it was like Indiana Jones was in the modern day and it was a hot chick? Wouldn't that be cool? And it was. It was fucking cool. And now it's just what so many video games are anymore. It's just get on your PlayStation and your Xbox and go ahead and play your generic ass fucking shooter with its many it's great graphics so you can see the many shades of brown and gray. And you know what? I'd rather play a fucking Yoshi game where he's made of yarn because it's cute and fun and I like it. I mean, that's why I like Nintendo. Nintendo's just fucking fun. And Nintendo's not afraid to be just fucking fun. Now, Nintendo has its flaws. You know, Nintendo certainly... I'll say this as a Nintendo fanboy. I'll admit this right now. They beat Mario to death. They beat Super Mario to death. And I say that as someone who would buy a Super Mario game every other month if they were putting them out that fast. But still, come on, there's other things. I mean, you know, you're sitting on... When's the last time you put out a Star Fox game or a good Metroid game or something? I mean... Or Pokemon. That's another one that beat the fuck to death. I know a lot of people love Pokemon, but... I mean... I guess I'm not one to talk being a Mario fan, but... Pokemon just one that they beat to fucking death. Like, that was the one part of the Nintendo press conference I was basically yawning at when... It's like, oh, here's a new Pokemon. Cool. Hey, look, it's increasingly less interesting looking Pokemon with each generation. But, yeah, they need to get a handle on... And again, I've said before that they should get their IPs into other media. That would do them some good, and I'd enjoy that as a fan. But, yeah, they need to maybe bring out some of the IPs they have they don't use that much and dust them off. You know, and supposedly they're doing a new IP. So good for them finally putting out something new. But yeah, that was E3. I think Nintendo dominated it. I walk away thinking about all the Nintendo stuff, and I don't basically think about any of the other crap. Who cares? Oh, the other interesting thing, Nintendo, is actually putting Smash Bros. On the 3DS. Which, again, Nintendo's always just dominated with the handhelds. I don't have a 3DS, but that's good news for the people that do. But yeah, Nintendo just dominated E3. I think they just absolutely dominated. And hey, you know what else was awesome about E3? No one gave Anita Skumskeezy a fucking award. So hey, it's better than that Game Developers Conference from a while back, so it's got that going on for it. Alright, wrapping this podcast up, kind of a short one this week. I mentioned Father's Day earlier, and I just want to say that I was very blessed. I had a damn good father. Not a perfect father by any stretch. Nobody has a perfect father, but I had a damn good father, and I am very blessed and grateful for that. And that's something we as a culture, I mean, we need to get back to realizing how important fathers are. They're vastly, they're far more, you know, this is a culture that thinks single moms, that isn't that so cute and fucking special and all, that's great. No, that's fucking trash. No, we got to get back to celebrating the importance of fatherhood. We got to get back to this is a culture that needs to once again recognize the importance of the father, and the lack of father figures is a big reason we have the messes we have, culturally speaking. So, I had a great dad, and, thank you, Dad, and, thank you to all the men out there who are good dads, who do what needs done. You are indispensable. So that's about it for this week. Thanks for listening. Bechtloff out.